Harlequin Special Releases and HarlequinAudio present Long Tall Texans, Jobe by Diana Palmer. Performed by Todd Mclaren. Chapter 1. Sandy noticed that he looked absolutely disgusted. It was hard to get Jobe Dodd to stand still long enough to listen to anything she said. But when she was trying to get him to listen to her about computers, she might as well have saved her breath. "It's my brother's ranch," Sandy Regan said hotly, glaring at the tall, blonde ranch foreman. "He says you're going to modernize the record-keeping, so you're damned well going to modernize it." Narrow gray eyes glittered down at her from an impossible height. Lean hands on lean hips made a visual statement about his opinion of her and her infernal machines, without his saying a single word. He might not have a college degree, but he had arrogance down to a science. "Did you hear what I said? Ted said we're doing it," she persisted, pushing back a strand of unruly dark hair. She was recovering at the ranch from a rough bout of influenza, where Ted's wife and Sandy's best friend, Corinne, had been nursing her. She was better, or she had been, until now. "Ted still owns that ranch in Victoria," Jobe said pointedly in his deep, curt drawl, alluding to the ranch where he'd worked before Ted and Sandy had moved back to the old home place in Jacobsville. "No reason I couldn't go work up there." "Great idea. You can work there until Ted has me convert those records to computer files, too." He gave her a level look, guaranteed to provoke a saint. "I'll tell Ted you recommended it." Her lips made a thin line. She was furious. It was her long-standing reaction to this man, who had been her nemesis since her 15th birthday. He'd started working for Ted just before she went away to college, and the more she studied, the more he provoked her. He had a good, sound high school education, followed by some vocational training in animal husbandry, but he knew next to nothing about electronic equipment. She did, and he resented her expertise. Not that he'd have admitted it. "You just can't stand it that I have a college degree, can you?" she raged. "It goes right through you that a mere woman understands something you don't." "I don't need to understand computers," he said smugly. "Not as long as you can't understand genetics. I guess your next step will be to stuff cows into that damned thing." He nodded toward the computer system she'd set up in the ranch office. "As a matter of fact, I was coming to that," she said with a cold smile. "I want to use computer chip implants in the hides of the cattle." "Over my dead body," came the short reply. "So that we can scan the cattle and get their records simultaneously. It will save a lot of time and trouble with his breeding program, and hours of paperwork." "I oversee the breeding program." "You can do it better with a computer." "And I'll tell you exactly what you can do with yours," he said in a deceptively pleasant tone. "And how far." She sighed angrily. Her hand went to her forehead. She was still feeling rocky from the flu, and arguing with Jobe always gave her a headache. She tried to think of him as an occupational hazard, but it made the time she spent at home fraught with difficulties. In the past few months, she'd found excuses not to visit Ted and Corinne because it put her in such close contact with him. Then flu had struck, and she'd had no place else to go. Grown she might be, but Ted looked after his own. Sadly, he considered Jobe family too, because he and Jobe's father had once been in the cattle business together. Sandy's antagonism for his ranch manager didn't bother Ted one bit. He knew that both of them were professional enough to overlook their small personality conflicts. From Sandy's point of view, That was going to...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?